She says, Patrick, this is very hard for me to say this. And let me tell you why it's very hard. I said, what's that? She says, ever since in high school, I wanted to prove to men that I can beat them. So when I graduated high school and college, I opened up my salon. We do very well. I've made millions of dollars. My people and my work that work at the salon, they do very well for themselves. I drive a nice car. I have a nice house. I have money. I have millions. I don't worry about any of that stuff. You know what decision I made last night? I said, what's that? She says, I want a husband. I no longer want to compete with men. I need them. And I'm like, what? She's saying this in front of 2,000 people with her sister sitting right next to her. And now she's getting emotional. How many 65-year-old women do we have to hear saying that I marched with the feminist movement and I bought into the fact that men are the enemy? I've never been married. I'm alone and I'm miserable and I wish I would have never bought into that philosophy.
8 out of 10 women who are childless didn't intend to be childless. It's called involuntary childlessness. Around about 10% of women are physically incapable of having kids for a variety of reasons. 10% said that they actually didn't intend to have children, and that leaves a whopping 4 out of 5 who didn't have children due to life circumstances. That's the most common reason for it, and the most common life circumstance is leaving it too late to find a partner and then have kids. You break through that fertility window on the other side. These women who get into their 40s, who always intended to have a family, who realize that they now can't, they go to support groups, and these women are grieving for families that they never had, which is just brutal. Like, to think that you can grieve for something that didn't occur.
I live quite a feminist lifestyle for quite some time.
What do you mean you lived a feminist lifestyle?
I'm independent financially and all of those things, and I kind of pursued my career for a really long time. I pursued my academics for a really long time. I really appreciate all of that. I think as you get older, you realize how unfulfilling all of those things are, and when you're sold that dream for a really long time, you're so convinced that that can't wait, and you're so convinced that marriage, kids, and becoming all of those things that are more traditional can wait, and really biologically it's the other way around.
My mom raised me to go, never cook for any man. You're going to be successful. You're not going to have kids until you're in your 30s or 40s. You're always going to take care of yourself first, because this is what she wanted for herself.
Right.
And she filled me with all of this. And I was like, this is what I want. I am not going to cook for any man. I'm going to be a feminist. And it wasn't really what I wanted. I didn't want, it's so fucking hard, right? In this like Me Too movement, whatever. But like, I don't want to be equal, the same as my man. I think that there is a man and there is a woman, and I think that's okay. We don't do the same things and we don't serve the same function in a household. But I didn't really know myself well enough to know that I am much more traditional, I realized, than I wanted to be cooler than I am.
Not having children, and you'll wake up when you're 35, if you're not careful, if you're female, and you'll think, oh, I don't have any time left to have kids. So many young women, you ask them at 19, well, do you want to have children? They think, oh, well, I don't think so. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And why people have decided that you should be some sort of authority about it is nothing but an index of how pathological our culture has become. You don't know anything. You're a child. You haven't read anything. You haven't accomplished anything. Your parents have taken care of you up to this point. And it's dangerous for the women, because they don't understand where they're headed. And other women lie to them. They don't sit the 19-year-olds down and say, look, you should pursue a career. You're smart. You've got something to offer. And society needs your intelligence. But you better look the hell out, because women have complicated lives, and they also have to have a family. And you're going to struggle like mad to figure out how to balance those two things. And nobody's going to help you.
A couple of weeks ago that said for the first time ever since records began, 50.1% of women are childless by 30. So there are more women without children at 30 than there are women with children. The first time ever.
I believe it was where I was talking about what our society does to 19-year-old women, or 18-year-old women, 19-year-old women. We just lie to them all the time. The first lie is, there's nothing more important than your career, more or less by definition. So that's the first lie. The second lie is, there will be nothing more important to you in your life than your career. So that's the second lie. And then the third lie is, there should be nothing more important in your life than your career.
Does this cause, you think, depression in a lot of women, where they struggle between a career, having kids? They're kind of like, what should I do, in your opinion?
Probably it's one of the main concerns. And I know a lot of women who put it off, because the media also tells you that you can have kids until you're don't worry, you're 35 or 38. Look at this celebrity who had a kid when she's 40.
Yeah.
And then I know people who were even mid 30s and couldn't have kids, or a little bit younger than that. And they're like, what? Like I've been told a lie.
Yeah.
So
That's one of the biggest lies we tell women is they can put off
that is,
having
and that
children and
is
family.
a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Because like you're missing out on one of the reasons people are people, right? That's crazy.
I wasted 10 years on feminism and woke culture, and there was aspects of, you know, you can be independent, you don't need a man, and all of that New York woke bullshit that really happens.
When did you realize that it was a lie?
Honestly, probably like a year ago.
A year ago.
That's the problem.
What made you like realize?
And it's interesting. Like I started really listening to Andrew Tate's like long form content.
Yeah. Nice.
And understanding truly what he meant.
Yeah.
And it really changed everything for me.
Okay.
And how I viewed men and women and relationships. And
what is your opinion on modern day feminism? Because I think it is one of the most harmful things to women. Also, how do we combat that along with harmful views on men? We're teaching our men to not be masculine. And
I'm not a big fan of feminism in any form. You know, I think that feminism from the very beginning was anti-family. But even the early feminists, if you look at the things they were saying about the family, they were not big fans of it. And they saw it as a patriarchal, oppressive institution. And so I think that feminism has, from the very beginning, been an attack on the family. And it's just that as it has lingered on, like a cancer, the cancer has spread and gotten more malignant. And so that's what we're experiencing today.
If you're turning 27 and you're unmarried, you're crossing into the danger zone. The danger zone is a population of leftover women, typically ages 27 to 35-year-old women who couldn't make the cut.
And this is why all the single masculine women that are in their 40s are mad. Because they didn't keep the guy that really wanted to marry them back then. They were too busy trying to be in the streets. And now look at them. 40, angry, miserable, and masculine. You chose wrong. Blame yourself, not me.
If you are single and you are in the dating marketplace at that time, when that happens, say you're 37, 36, 38, 40, whatever it may be, and you are still on the hunt for that man, and you hit the wall and you can see in your face that you are no longer the face that you were at whether it was 30 or 35 or 25, whatever it is, you are going to be panicked. Because now you know that you are going to compete with women who are younger, who are largely more fertile, not always, but largely speaking, yes, who have that youthfulness to them, who have that estrogen, progesterone, whatever the hormonal balance is that makes someone young, it's there and you're losing it. And you become hyper aware of that. And that is why women begin to panic.
You want a top earner to accept a divorcee with 3 kids. He gets no children from you. And all he gets is the part of your free time for 100% of his monogamy. Does that sound like a fair deal?
Yes. Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Insane.
I'm divorced and I have a few kids from my previous relationship. And I'm having trouble finding a man or being chosen by a man.
No. Who in this fucking table is a single mom?
Me.
You?
And I said I would.
And this is the only girl. This is the only girl that chooses because she fucking knows what it is to be a fucking singer.
All right, so
I ain't gonna lie, Chris. I ain't
please
gonna
don't make a guess. Here's the thing.
No one's saying that no one's gonna want you. We're just saying. I'm not even lying. It's unlikely.
Plenty of people will want
you. Emotional damage.
To the mothers that have the luxury of having the child's father around. To the mothers that have the luxury of being able to get a day or two to yourself. To the mothers that have more than just 3 or 4 people as a village.
I have a kid. Now that I have my kid, I might be this, I'm a boss bitch, but deep down in my heart, I would do absolutely anything to be at home and be like always with my child. But unfortunately, like he's right. And that shit's hard. Like, unfortunately, since I'm by myself, I gotta hustle, Yeah. But I would do anything to have a man.
If you don't have a boyfriend, if you don't have a husband, if you don't got a guy that takes you seriously, you don't have some type of man that is willing to die to protect you, it's your fault. It's not ours. I'm tired of Why is everyone sitting here coddling women from their poor decisions?
What's wrong with women with kids?
What's wrong with little Jimmy with freckles and the glasses?
He's not my type.
Not my type.
So you want a woman that has no kids,
Yeah.
correct? Why?
Why not?
What's the worst date you've ever been on?
We went out to Applebee's and she shows up at least like 30 minutes late and she's got 3 kids with her. So she gets a call and she's just like, all right, so you just got to go with whatever I say. And like 10 minutes after she gets that call, this dude just comes in with her. And I'm just like, oh, he tells us all to get in the car like nothing is wrong. This is kind of a weird situation. I'm thinking that I'm getting like set up or something. But apparently she told him that I'm one of her oldest kids from a different baby dad. That was her baby dad for the other 3 kids. And now I'm the oldest son from a different baby dad. So
sensational.